Welcome to the Prophecy Club. Today I'm going to read to you a prophecy, a dream. It's called Russian Overtakers. As you know, I've been telling you that this fall everything is going to start breaking loose. I've been recommending you get this DVD, and I still recommend you get this DVD. It's called 2014 to 2021. Now, I realize you may be one of those folks that just listen to radio. I never call, I never place an order. But let me encourage you to break the mold on this one. I mean, change your attitude, change your habits on this one. You want this DVD. It's called 2014 to 2021, and it is basically the predictions of 2 cows and 13 modern prophets and prophecies. Now, just as Joseph interpreted Pharaoh's dream, I interpret the signs and the prophecies of these other people to present to you the future from 2014 to 2021. Again, now please don't think I'm a novice. I just didn't find a microphone laying around, decided I was going to turn it into a radio program. I've been studying prophecy 40 years, teaching it 35 years, doing a radio and TV program on it for some 22 years. I've invited over 150 guests that have made over 300 full-length, most of them 2.5-hour DVDs, some of them double, triple, and quadruple DVD sets. So I'm not new to prophecy. So don't think I just found a microphone and what are you doing on the air, okay? So let me give you the bullet points. Let me give you the topics that are on this DVD. Then we're going to go on over and I'm going to read for you a very, very powerful dream that gives you a picture of what we might be seeing in America very soon. I think we are going to see this in America. Matter of fact, I think it is of God. Question is just when it's going to happen, and it gives you some hints, and we'll talk about that. Okay, first of all, the bullet points, the topics from the DVD 2014 to 2021 that you can get by going to prophecyclub.com. Just remember to spell prophecy with a C, okay? prophecyclub.com or 785-266-1112. 2.5 hours, totally packed with information. Topics. September 25th, 2014 started the last 7 years of plenty. September 25, 2015, the Pope will announce the New World Order according to Lindsey Williams. The 7-year tribulation will take place during the years of 2022 to 2028. No, I'm not kidding. The global currency reset will hit this fall, forcing welfare checks to stop. Protesters will start burning the cities. Martial law will follow. Obama will declare it. Obama will stay in office for 5 years, suspending the Constitution. All civil rights will be gone. Local militias begin firing at the Obama men. Then Dimitri Duduman's prophecy that the fall of America would start with an internal revolution started by the communists will be fulfilled. Gun confiscation will be implemented. Then an unarmed America is attacked by a surprise nuclear attack by the Russians and other nations. Then the unarmed Christians in America are rounded up and martyrdom begins. The New World Order, the world government, is set in place. America falls in 2021, and I have 3 reasons why I say that. Again, none of this comes from me. This is all in the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses. All right, now, let's go to the Russian Overtakers. Now, I met this lady in May of 2004. She came to the crusade we were having in Baltimore, Maryland. Name is Patty Travato. We put it in our magazine at the time. She says, in my dream, there had been a nuclear explosion in the Baltimore-Washington corridor. I had quickly grabbed clothes, a tent, money, and a little food and stuffed them into our car. We had used the back roads to get out of Maryland. My daughter was in a car behind me with the rest of our kids. My husband was going to meet us at the campground. I was driving down a familiar highway in Pennsylvania. We were going to a campsite near Penn State College. The highway was jam-packed in both directions. Traffic had come to a total stop due to some small accidents. I got out of our car and climbed up past the boulders into the trees to sit in the cool shade. It was a nice spring weather day. The highway was filled with people in panic, trying to get to the mountains, while other people in a panic were trying to leave the mountains to travel down southeast. Everyone was in a panic. About that time, 4 black helicopters came from over the mountain range. They started buzzing up and down the road. 2 left to go south. 1 kept circling the area I was in. While the 4th got out a bullhorn, they announced to all of us that martial law had taken effect. Let me read that again. Brothers and sisters, let this soak in, because in my opinion, we're looking at martial law as possibly, I don't think so, but possibly as early as latter this year, but high probability 2016. So what I'm reading to you here is telling you when this might start taking place. In other words, we might be reading 2016 newspaper here, okay? This may be very, very close. Let me read that again. They announced to all of us that martial law had taken effect, and they were traveling illegally. All right, now what does that tell you? That tells you that when martial law is declared, when the global currency reset hits, when the welfare checks stop, when the cities start burning, when they declare martial law, then they will send you home. You got to stay in your house. That's the reason we decided to start carrying emergency food. Mina Grebin was told by the Lord that for her and her family, she needed to have 1 year of food and water, and she was told she needed to have all preparations for the trouble in place before the end of this summer. That's right, before the end of the 2015 summer. So that's the reason we started offering emergency food, which you can find at prophecyclubfood.com. Now, you got to remember to spell prophecy right. We spell it with a C, okay? Prophecy with a C, prophecyclubfood.com. If you want to call them, you can call them at 800-924-7110. 800-924-7110. Oh, he's just telling me this to sell some food. Brothers and sisters, if that's your heart, you are missing what I am saying. I'm telling you, trouble like you've never seen. I've never seen this kind of trouble in my lifetime come to America, but it's coming this fall, and I'm warning you. Plan A, 1 person 1 year. Plan B, food for 1 person 6 months. Plan C, 1 person 3 months. Get what you can. They even have a small bucket, grab and go, 76 servings. All you got to do is add boiling water, and that's 3 meals a day. 800-924-7110 or prophecyclubfood.com. Now, listen carefully, because what I just told you is about to be needed. They announced to all of us that martial law had taken effect and that we were traveling illegally. Everyone was required to return to their homes or face arrest and confiscation of their vehicles. That's the big thing that the government's been doing now for, 10, 12, 15 years. Do something wrong, they come and close your bank accounts, confiscate your vehicles, confiscate your house. Yeah. Let me read it again. Everyone was required to return to their homes or face arrest and confiscation of their vehicles. We thought, how can we go back home? The lanes of traffic on the highway are not moving. A man in a southbound pickup truck started screaming at the black helicopter. He incited others to throw rocks at it and even wanted people to turn over the vehicles and block the highway to stop people from going home. A military person dressed in black with dark gray appeared at the helicopter's door and shot the man and 2 others dead. Other people in the area were forced to lay the bodies alongside the highway and move their vehicles onto the shoulder of the highway. This paralyzed the people. No one really understood just how different things in America were about to be. The circling helicopter swooped down, and a young military man jumped to the road on the northbound side. He was quite friendly, and he gave new orders saying that tourists should proceed to their destination. We were told that we could only visit 10 days or less. Then we were required to return to our primary residence. Again, brothers and sisters, martial law means they take over. They take over where you work, your gas, your electricity, your water. They're running everything in your life. That's the reason I'm recommending that before the end of the summer, you get at least a year's worth of food and water. Now, I got to give a disclaimer here. Legally, I can't tell you to go buy this food. Legally, I can't guarantee all of this is going to happen. But as a fellow brother and sister, as one that has been a call to be a watchman to try to warn you when the trouble is coming, I think it's important that I warn you. Now, you got to take it to the Lord in prayer to decide what you really do. So the disclaimer is don't make any financial decisions based upon any of these Prophecy Club broadcasts. Take it to the Lord in prayer. We were told that we could only visit 10 days or less, then we were required to return to our primary residence. He told us that we would want to go home anyway because we wouldn't be able to buy any food anywhere except prepackaged food still available in the gas stations. All grocery markets were closed. Let me read that again. All grocery markets were closed. Now, lest you think that is some kind of foolishness, you understand that Jade Helm is in process now. Okay, what is Jade Helm? Well, it's military exercises in 15 locations across America, going on between the days of July the 15th to August 15th. Now, they've closed 5 Walmarts. Oh, you didn't hear about that? No, only few places have this news, okay? They closed 5 Walmarts. Now, here's what's strange about the Walmarts. Some of the Walmarts said they had to close them because there was leaks in the roof. We'll be right back after this message. Legally, we can't guarantee this trouble will come this year, but of course, having emergency supplies is a good idea. Mina Grebin says she was told to have at least 1 year's food and supplies, including water, and you must have all preparations done by the end of the 2015 summer. She says buy food and supplies. We offer Plan A, 3 meals a day, 1 person, 1 year. Plan B, 1 person, 6 months. Plan C, 1 person, 3 months, or a grab-and-go bucket with 72 meals. Call 800-924-7110 or go to prophecyclubfood.com. That's 800-924-7110 or prophecyclubfood.com. Lindsey Williams has just made his newest and perhaps his best DVD called Fall 2015 Preparations. That's right. Topics are events scheduled for September through December. Things the elite told me to do. Know what you're preparing for. Have an alternate location. Move or suffer. How to stay warm without electricity, and the date the New World Order will be implemented. You did hear that right. It's Fall 2015 Preparations. Call 785-266-1112 or go to prophecyclub.com. Call 785-266-1112 or go to prophecyclub.com. Fall 2015 Preparations by Lindsey Williams. Get it today. And now, back to the program. Some of the Walmarts said they had to close them because there was leaks in the roof, but no roofers were called. Some were called because it was plumbing leaks, but no plumbers were called. Okay, so what's really going on? They also hung this big plastic sheeting up so no one could see what is going on in the Walmart. Furthermore, they got those big containers, that like they put on these big boats going across the sea. I mean, they're like tractor trailer size, and they put them all around the Walmarts to keep people out. What are they doing in those 5 closed Walmarts that they don't want us to see? Could it be that this is just an exercise preparing for when they will close the grocery markets, when they will put these big giant containers all around the grocery markets so people can't break in and get groceries? Could it be that they're going to control us by food, water, and electricity? Okay, let me read that again. All grocery markets were closed. The only people that were allowed to report to work were emergency workers. Okay, hold on. Pause just a second. Let me read that again. Listen carefully. All grocery markets were closed. The only people that were allowed to report to work were emergency workers. So if this does happen this fall or early part of next year, which is a high probability, simply because he says martial law has taken effect, and I'm telling you by the word of the Lord through 2 or 3 witnesses that it is coming late 15, early 2016. I'm telling you it's coming, okay? Then you need to make certain that your family is prepared. And while I can't tell you to go get food, and by the way, going to the grocery store and getting that kind of food, that stuff is only designed to last like 2 years, and some of it doesn't even last that long. Matter of fact, I can tell you I've had some food like that I bought go bad. And you probably have had that also, which is the reason we carry emergency food at prophecyclubfood.com, 800-924-7110. Plan A is food, 1 person 1 year. Plan B food, 1 person 6 months. Plan C food, 1 person 3 months, or grab and go that has 76 servings. All you got to do is add boiling water, which of course in a time of emergency, boiling your water is a good idea anyway. But just add boiling water and you're good to go. 800-924-7110, prophecyclubfood.com. Now, let me go on. All grocery markets were closed. The only people that were to report to work were emergency workers. The gas stations were allowed to remain open to allow people to get gasoline to go home. And then no one was to leave. Listen again. The gas stations were allowed to remain open to allow people to get home. Then no one was to leave their home. Do you have a year's worth of food and water? If they were to turn your electricity, if they were to turn your water off, there's nothing coming out of the faucet, and they said you can't leave your house for a whole year, can you live inside your house? If not, prophecyclubfood.com is a place to go check. Then the scene changed, and I was at home again, which is a 20-minute drive from Baltimore. My family and I were watching TV, the news conference on how people were coping with grocery stores being closed for the last 3 weeks. Let me read that again. People had their grocery stores closed for the last 3 weeks. A military woman dressed in the same outfit as the men in the helicopters came to our front door. She made sure that we were home, then put something sticky on our door on which to affix government papers. They didn't want these papers put in a mailbox. She handed us a large envelope of papers. The contents included a mandatory appointment with the school where we were registered to vote. If you missed the appointment, you delayed getting food for your family. Most people had eaten all of their food and their extra food. All people were required to share what food they had. Food was the primary problem on everyone's minds. The government did not want anyone to have any extra food in their home. Any person not sharing their food they had stored up would have it all taken away and go to jail. All right, I can hear what you're saying right now. You're saying, well, then why should I buy the food if they're just going to come and get it? Okay, well, here's the answer. We had Doug Metzger come in and make a DVD a couple of years ago, and he had a vision. This was the vision. He said, God gave me a vision of a redwood tree that had fallen across the road. On the side of the tree was written, quote, America fallen, unquote. In my vision, I could see Christians approaching on the road. When they got to the tree, they were undone. They could not go around it. They could not go over it. They could not go under it. Most simply turned away in sadness and defeat. They could not get beyond the fact that America had fallen. But there were some who could see what I saw in my vision. In the middle of the tree, there was an almost invisible door in the shape of a cross. And what the Lord spoke to me was this: Doug, many people will not get past the fact that America has fallen. But those who understand the cross, who know how to die to self and be transformed in the likeness of Christ, will be the ones able to go through it, just like through the door. They will be able to go through the midst of America fallen. And because they know the cross, they will become giants on the other side with crowns. You see, brothers and sisters, you may be saying, well, if they're just going to come in and take my food, why do I want to buy it? Well, brothers and sisters, that's why you want to buy it, so you can be a blessing to other people. You see, the Christ-likeness that some people can't see is putting other people first. You want to have the food, when people come to your home and they need food, they need water, you want to share it with them. You want to put people first. And then, of course, if God wants to multiply it, like he did the loaves and fishes, then, of course, you're blessed. And if he doesn't and you die, then that's the way. But I don't think the Lord's going to do that. He wants to see if you are willing to put others first. That's the big test. So don't say, oh, I don't want to buy food because the government's just going to come and get it. Oh, I don't want to buy food because my neighbors are just going to come and eat it all up. No, you want to buy food so that you can have it to give away and watch the Lord multiply and watch the Lord provide. And if you give it all away and you die from starvation, then you still put people first. Now, I know that you kind of got to get your head and say, is it really a screwed on right, and kind of move it around. But that's the whole point. That's the whole point, is to put other people first. So, yes, you do want to get emergency food. All right, let's go on back to the dream that Patty Travato had called Russian Overtakers, which, by the way, this is in the download area at prophecyclub.com. You can download this whole thing, and you'll find lots of other things, too, there. Download section at prophecyclub.com, as well as radio programs. So the government didn't want anyone to have any food left in their house. Any person not sharing food they had stored up would have it all taken away and go to jail. When I arrived at our place of voting, only a few people were allowed in at a time. Tables were set up as when we vote. We had to go to an alphabetized table and state our name. We had to provide proof of who we were and how many people lived in our home. They confirmed this information with a computer. Anyone not registered would have to go to a sports stadium to do their paperwork in order to get food. No more Walmart food. Let me read that again. No more Walmart food. Each family was issued something that looked like WIC checks or WIC checks. Each family was issued one grocery store in which they could shop. The checks had food items listed and how many we could buy. For example, 2 16-ounce cans of vegetables, 1 pound of meat, 6 fruit items, fresh. We could only buy at our assigned store. Everyone could only shop if you were the registered shopper, and only one person per family could be registered to shop. Each person had one certain day in which they could shop. I was at my assigned store. There were only a few people allowed in at a time. Once the approved people were in, the doors were locked until the maximum time was over and the next group was allowed in. I only had 15 minutes to shop for the listed items on my check order, and only 5 minutes for a clerk to process everything. Each hour, only 3 groups of people were allowed to enter. To ensure appropriate behavior, there were military-dressed guards with machine guns in their hands at various places throughout the store. Some people were assigned to shop in the middle of the night. We could choose whatever brand of cans or meats, but the amount was very limited. My grocery cart was only 1/3 full, and it had to last us all week until the next weekly appointment, when we were given another WIC-type check with a limited amount of food listed to be purchased. Each person's check was commensurate with the number of people living at their residence. One could buy all the paper goods and cleaners they liked. As I was paying for the allowed food, another customer became very irate with the little amount of food he was being allowed to get. So he started yelling at one of the soldiers. The soldier slowly pointed his gun at him, pushed back his helmet, stared into his eyes a long time. Then the soldier, speaking in Spanish accent, said, "Don't be upset. This will not do you any good." He pointed at a military vehicle out in the parking lot and said, "Look, your Russian overtakers have had to live like this all of their lives. Now it is your turn." The dream ended. Toward the end of the dream, I knew that the nuclear attack was not a single attack, but actually many small attacks, and was accomplished through a Russian Spanish-speaking country alliance. I woke with a very clear knowing of how easily people will cooperate with a new government in order just to get a little food. I saw how voting registration will be used to organize food distribution. Then I saw the entire dream again, shockingly crystal clear, just as it was given to me the first time. Brothers and sisters, this is not a joke. I can confirm everything she said here, just about everything, in the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses. So, I suggest you make certain that your family has at least 1 year of food and water in the home. ProphecyClubFood.com, ProphecyClubFood.com. All you got to do is add boiling water. 3 meals a day is calculated. Plan A, 1 person 1 year. Plan B, 1 person 6 months. Plan C, 1 person 3 months. Or a grab-and-go bucket of 76 servings. 800-924-7110 or ProphecyClubFood.com. And you can get the DVD 2014 to 2021 by going to ProphecyClub.com. ProphecyClub.com. Or you can call it in at 785-266-1112. 785-266-1112. Now from the Prophecy Club, some exciting opportunities for you. Legally, we can't guarantee this trouble will come this year, but of course, having emergency supplies is a good idea. Mina Grebin says she was told to have at least 1 year's food and supplies, including water, and you must have all preparations done by the end of the 2015 summer. She says buy food and supplies. We offer Plan A, 3 meals a day, 1 person 1 year. Plan B, 1 person 6 months. Plan C, 1 person 3 months, or a grab-and-go bucket with 72 meals. Call 800-924-7110 or go to ProphecyClubFood.com. That's 800-924-7110 or ProphecyClubFood.com. Order 2014 to 2021. It's the predictions of 2 cows and 13 modern prophecies. As Joseph interpreted Pharaoh's dream, I interpret these signs and prophecies to present a picture of what you can expect from 2014 to 2021. Now remember, all of this is in the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses. The topics are September 25th, 2014, and how it starts the last 7 years of plenty. September 25, 2015, and how the Pope plans to announce a new world order. Then from the years 2022 to 2028 will be the 7-year tribulation. That's a very big statement. Then there will be a global currency reset. Then welfare checks will stop. Protesters start burning the cities. Martial law then declared. Obama stays in office. The Constitution suspended. Local militias formed to combat the Obama men. Gun confiscation is then ordered. That starts the internal revolution spoken of by Dmitry Duduman. Then Russia attacks America in a surprise nuclear attack. Then Christian martyrdom begins. It's 2.5 hours of some of the most important information in the last 20 years of this prophecy ministry. Call 785-266-1112 or prophecyclub.com. It's called 2014 to 2021. Call 785-266-1112 or prophecyclub.com. Order today. Come and go with the Prophecy Club to Israel. November 5 to 15, Leslie and I will take you on a biblical archaeology and a Bible prophecy tour. A tour like none other. What makes our tour different than the other tours? Well, we're going to take you to the traditional sites the other tours go on, but we're going beyond. We're going to show you the places and give you information other tours can't. In 1991, Leslie and I went on a tour with Ron Wyatt. He showed us archaeological secrets in Israel we're going to show to you, such as the iron spike that sealed the tomb of Jesus, proving Gordon's Calvary really is the tomb of Jesus. And you're going to pick up brimstone from the city of Gomorrah. You'll gather tar drips from the slime pits of Sodom. You'll visit the more likely birthplace of Jesus, not the one the tour buses stop at. In a special escort, you'll get to go behind the gates at the Garden of Gethsemane and pray. And if the drilling permit has been granted, we'll also go pray over the future drill sites for prophetic oil. Yes, you'll see many of the traditional sites, but this tour goes way beyond. Call 310-402-4042. That's 310-402-4042 for more information. Seating is limited. 310-402-4042.